Hey guys, welcome back to NoobTube. Today I'm going to be showing y'all the top 3 assault classes in assault class loadouts in Battlefield 2042. So let's get right into this video. Okay guys, so for our first loadout, I'm going to go with the AK-5C Sundance, the M44, C5, and the smokes. You could go with the explosive launcher if you want, but we're going to go with smokes and C5 just because it's a bit better for what this loadout is meant for. But so how you're going to use this loadout is you can use this as a flanking loadout or as a just rushing straight into the enemy. It's very much of an offensive loadout. And what what Sundance has is a scatter grenade, which is why we're taking smokes instead of a grenade a frag, because we already have that. And the clusters are actually a lot better. So what you can do with the smokes is sneak right in, and then you can use your clusters to get the big piles of enemies. Oh, no. On the AK-5C, I used the K8 Hollow. You could use the Fusion or one of these longer ones, any of these other hollows you could use. I just like but then you can also use the thermal for better sight. I use the champion muzzle brake and the wrapped suppressor. For mags, I use close combat extended, and I use the standard issue extended. And then for underbarrel, I use just the laser sight and the 40mm incendiary to just wipe out the big crowds of enemies. Then the M44, anything on there. The other thing about her is why we have the C5 is because Sundance doesn't deploy parachute when you try. It actually deploys a wingsuit, meaning that what you can use her as is somewhat of like a kamikaze loadout, because what you can do is you can land right on tanks and then C5 them, which makes it a lot easier to get kills, and it's very fun to play with her. So you can do all that, and the M44 is used just because it's really powerful. I think it's one of the most powerful pistols, well, secondary weapons other than RPGs and the Super 500, because the Super 500 is actually just a shotgun. And the AK-5C has barely any recoil, as you can see in this gameplay, but so it's really good for close-up. That's why we have the close combat mag. And as you can see, if you run out of ammo, you can just switch to your pistol, and you do. I think you can two-tap with the head from close-up. But it's more of a kamikaze, more of a offensive play style with the Sundance loadout and all that. But let's get into this next loadout, guys. So for the second assault class loadout, we're going to use Mackay with the M5A3, the G57, the smoke grenade launcher, and a frag grenade. And what we're going to use this for is, so Mackay has his grappling hook, and on the M5A3 and the G57, those are just, I think these are the first weapons that you actually get. So it's very beginner friendly. On the M5A3, I would use the Fusion Hollow sight. Or Fusion Hollow with the close combat and standard issue barrel mags. And then on the barrel, I would put the champion muzzle brake. It's got to be one of the best muzzle brakes. And then I would just choose the BCG light grip for the underbarrel. Unless you have the laser unlocked. If you have the laser, then just use that. But then for the G57, I would just use the Fusion Hollow sight and the extended mag. Nothing that you really got to do there. And with Mackay, he has his grappling hook and he has the nimble trait, meaning that he walks faster when aimed and crouched, and he moves faster on dip lines. So what you'd use him for is just a all-round balanced type playstyle. And what you'd use his grappling hook for, it's multi-purpose. So you could use it to get, as you can see, I'm getting over structures, or to get away. So I could use it to get over structures and get past enemies so that I could flank with the smoke grenade launcher, or I could use the smoke grenade launcher if I'm low health, I could shoot that down at the ground or where I'm going, and then what I would do is I would grapple out of there. So it's really good for defense and offense. And the guns are just balanced, normal weapons, not very special. Then just use your frag grenade for normal stuff. So this is a mix of Sundance and the next loadout that we're going to be using. But pretty basic, just use the G57 because it's balanced pistol, balanced assault rifle. And then the gunplay, normal. As you can see, you can choose between flanking, rushing, and staying back to defend. So it's good in breakthrough, whichever team you're on, even if you're on defense. But let's get into this next loadout now. And for our third and final assault class loadout, we're going with more of a defensive playstyle. So we're going to be using Zane, the SFAR, with the underbarrel of a 40mm incendiary. You can use the Fusion Hollow Sight or the K8 Hollow. I like the K8 Hollow. I would use the high-powered drum when you get it, but standard issue is good for now. And then I would use the Warhawk compensator, actually, because it's recoil control, and then the incendiary on the bottom just to get through crowds of enemies. And we're also going to use the G57, the explosive launcher, and the smoke grenades just to really play defensive. So this is a very damage dealing loadout because we have multiple things. We have the smokes to hide ourselves, but then we also have a powerful weapon. Especially with the high power mag, you can do tons of damage. And then you can also use this explosive launcher when you get it to do tons of damage to crowds and also vehicles, light armored vehicles. And then you also have the incendiary barrel. You can also use the normal just grenade barrel or whichever one you like, depending on the situation, just to do a ton of damage. But it just depends on what you want. So a lot of these loadouts are very customizable to your preference, and you can really just use whatever. Also, if you want even more of a defensive loadout with this, then you could switch your G57 to the Super 500, because then you're able to one-hit enemies, and you're able to use, so then you're doing max amount of damage possible. Or you could also switch your smokes to concussion grenades so that if there's a group of enemy rushing towards you, you can use a concussion grenade on them and they're gonna be disorientated. Then you can use your either grenade launcher or incendiary underbarrel. But that's about it for this assault guide. But if you found this video helpful, then I would recommend that you subscribe to our channel and that you checked out my other Battlefield 2042 tutorial videos and gameplay videos. But other than that, have a great day. See ya!